What the hell is Saw Sports or whatever that last call was talking about? What the hell is that?
Guys are from Free Love, man.
What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Saw Sports. I'm your host, Honcho. Today we're going to get into the 5 keys to watch between the Houston Texans and the Chiefs going into NFL Week 6 of the 2019 season. If you don't know, Saw Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network, so hit that subscribe button if you want the freshest flavor in Houston sports. This is primarily the Texas channel. If you want the rest of the Houston sports, professional, amateur, collegiate, whatever it may be, make sure you subscribe to Saw Sports TV. But let's stop wasting time. Make sure you're following Saw Sports on all the proper social medias below. Let's get in it to win it. So if you're kind of new to how we do the 5 videos, we always usually go from worst to best or least important to most important. So let's kind of get into it. I want to talk about a former friend turned foe in the Honey Badger, who played for the Texans last year on a 1-year deal. Honey Badger left and said some very interesting things on his way out, not only about the players, but about the way that this franchise has been run, the way that this organization handles business. And it's very funny because you saw some things this year that were a little bit different that may have, I wonder if he sparked some things. I wonder if he said some things that changed the way that this operates, because we saw Nick Martin get a deal earlier in the season. They usually don't do deals during the season. That could be part of this new GM committee or whatever else it was. But he said, hey, maybe if they would have done a deal with me last year, we would have never got to this point. We know the Texans were in a bidding war with the Chiefs somewhat to pay him. A lot of people say, oh, well, he's not worth it. This is the stupidest thing you can say because he got paid that much. So obviously he is worth it, regardless of what your opinion feels. Now, you may not have thought he was as good of a player. You can say that, or you can say that maybe he didn't live up to the hype. But you can't say what somebody is and isn't worth if they are worth that much. So I wish we would stop using that language. Use your words appropriately. Again, I'm not necessarily tripping. We moved on, but he has as many interceptions at least by himself, as the entire Texan secondary. So that's something to think about. Anyway, going to be very interesting to see how it goes, see if he made the right decision, if the Texans can overcome, and we'll go from there. We'll find out definitely on Sunday. But let's get into the next thing right now. All right, so number 4 in our list is correcting Ka'imi's kicking. Ka'imi Fairbairn is not looking very good. I know a lot of people have been not so high on him, but his numbers were better in previous years. But right now he's 82.4% on extra points, which is not good. He's I want to say he's 14 for 17. And then as far as field goals, 5 of 7, with a couple of those coming, in the previous couple of games. Missed 2 extra points last game, which could have come down to being essential, but fortunately it didn't. The offense did what they needed to do. The defense also helped seal the deal. But you can look back at that Carolina game, a missed field goal, you may maybe change the outcome of how you play that game. But it's not looking very good. Don't believe the Texans brought in anybody to have a kicking competition with him this week, and that's questionable because he's not looking steady. He's not looking, and again, you would hate for a situation to come down to you having to depend on Ka'imi's leg, and he's not there for you. Now, the ones that he did miss, the field goals that he did miss, yes, they were both over 50-plus yards. But again, you're a kicker. You're expected to make within that 50 to 54, 55-yard range. I mean, it's just an expectation. I think his career high is 55 yards. So I'm not going to be just totally dismissive, on him on the long field goal. The offense should put you in better position. But extra points? Come on, man. Anyway, concerning Ka'imi's kicking is very important. Hopefully that he can get that together, because this is a game that could possibly turn into a shootout. And if he and his leg are not accurate, that could be the point or 3 points that could cost the Texans the game or sway things in the favor of the Chiefs. So let's go ahead and get into the third thing, or the third key. Let's unlock the keys, unlock doors. Let's unlock that door right now. All right, so getting into the third key, I think they call him Cheetah Fam. Had a speedy fucking recovery. I know he would be back in time to play against the Texans. Well, Tyreek Hill could be an X factor this game. Possibly, may be able to come back and play. He's been practicing, limited practice, hasn't been hit yet. They say they're kind of being cautious, don't know until he gets in the game. But any additional weapons that you add to this lineup can be tough for the Texans. Now, I will admit the Texans had a solid outing against the secondary, against the receiving core of the Falcons last week. But let's be honest, the Falcons are garbage. So, again, they shut down Julio for the most part. I think, you had to commit to stopping the receivers from doing damage. I don't think they were really concerned about the run game that much. And so you kind of sold out to do that. But you got Tyreek Hill as a guy who's a playmaker. Sammy Watkins might be hurt. You have Kelsey, who is always a potential threat, one of the better tight ends in the league. So bringing back Hill can be an additional weapon for this offensive unit of the Chiefs that the Texans are going to have to watch out for. Now, we got a little bit of speed of our own. We got some injuries of our own. Stills, I'm not sure where he's at. I'm not sure. I think he's in limited practice. Again, speedy guy of our own. I'm not going to say he's Stills compared to Hills. Might be a little bit of might be a small difference there. But we're just looking at our defense and what they're going to have to face. There's a lot of weapons on that side of the ball. And if they can bring back Hill and Hill is ready to go, that might present an additional challenge to this Texans defense. Let's get into the second key. And make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video because, as you know, we do it all the 5 videos. That if there's 5 topics or 5 keys, 5 takeaways, whatever it may be, there's always a bonus. The comment of the day, special ingredient. I still don't have any name for it. I know y'all suggested a bunch of good names, but we'll get to that. Make sure you stay tuned to the very end so you can catch the comment of the day. And it might be you. If you've left a comment within the last few days, weeks, or whatever it may be, you may be comment of the day. So make sure you stay tuned and check that out. But let's go ahead and get to the next key right now. All right, so getting into the second key, this game, I know everybody's riding high. Allegedly, there was some mix-up between who was calling plays. So it came out that it was Bill O'Brien calling plays last game. And it makes you question a couple of things, but we're going to get into that to another video. Actually, I'm going to have a special podcast for the Patreon supporters on my thoughts on some of these things. So make sure you subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/SawSports. At the $5 tier or higher if you want to catch some of these private podcasts I'm going to be releasing a couple of times a week. But Billy O gets bullied when it comes to good competition. The victories that we've had so far this year, 500 or less, winning teams, we don't find success. I know you say it's early in the season, but stuff might change. Let's be realistic. Historically, his record has been very porous against winning teams, and especially the top tier talent. When you talk about Patriots, we've seen struggles against the Chiefs in multiple levels, multiple times. But you're talking about getting out coached, because I don't think it's necessarily ever really a talent issue. It's about the utilization of that talent. And so it's going to be interesting because here is where Bill O'Brien has a chance to prove himself. To me, this is a more meaningful game. How do you do against solid competition? You got a couple of things working in your favor. You got some injuries on both sides of the ball for the Chiefs. I think the Texans are relatively healthy. When you look at it, the outside of maybe Stills, the line is looking like they're back healthy. So there are no excuses for Bill O'Brien. This is where you prove, do you belong in that? Are you kind of in that middle of the pack coaching level, or are you kind of close to that upper echelon? I won't say elite. I know there's some idiot who does YouTube videos who said that Bill O'Brien before the season was a top 3 coach and said that Andy Reid wasn't a top 10 coach. But I can't remember that idiot's name, and it's pretty stupid. What do you, if you agree with that statement? Let me know how you feel about. Just let me know how you feel about that comment in that statement in the comments below. I'd love to know if you agree with that idiotic statement, or maybe you agree, maybe you think it is. Anyway. So I think this is where Bill O'Brien has a chance to put himself in the conversation of coaches. Where does he belong? A lot of people got him middle of the pack. A lot of people got him bottom of the barrel. A lot of people say, hey, talent has saved his ass. But again, like I said, you saw him call a solid game last week, but I'm not super sold on it because the Falcons have been terrible pretty much this entire season. And that may have worked in his advantage. Maybe he's turned over a new leaf. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Andy Reid is a guy who's proven. We've seen him do it year after year. Got to a bowl, not quite won it, but we've seen him have success with a variety of quarterbacks, with a variety of teams. So we know what he's bringing to the table. While I think the jury is still out on Bill O'Brien, a lot of people like to be overly positive about it. But I'm going to be honest, in the stats where it really counts, I don't think he's proven anything yet. And so this is a chance for him to make a name for himself and show that he's turned over a new leaf this season. But let's get into the number one key, the most important key to this game. And I think that you'll agree with me. Again, hit that comment section below because I'd love to know what you think. And if you want a chance to be comment of the day in the next video or on the next stream, make sure you leave a comment. And if it's a good comment, it's a good question, a good statement, and hey, we'll get at you. But let's get into the number one key right now. Now, the matchup that everyone has been waiting to see is the number one key. Patrick Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson. Both of these guys came out of the 2017 draft a couple of picks apart. The two best quarterbacks out of the draft. Unfortunately, Chicago picked some guy named Trubisky. I don't even know why they did. But anyway, you see Chicago Bears fans lamenting that pick to this day, and they will continue to lament that pick as long as these two guys continue to have success. I think the two highest passer ratings right now in the league are Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. So that is something to account. I think this is the future of the NFL. I think this is going to be your Brady, Manning, or whatever competition you want to look at it. But a couple of things that you have to take into account. You look at the beginning of these guys' careers, and I know a lot of people have Mahomes as this guy and everything, but I think personally, and of course I'm biased because I am a Texans fan, but Deshaun Watson is the better quarterback in my opinion, and I guess stats don't say this. I'm going to just be biased. I'm going to be blatantly biased. I don't give a shit. You look at what he's had to do compared to what was presented to Mahomes. Mahomes had to sit for a year behind a quality starter, a guy who's had success on multiple teams. He had a chance to, like I say, sit and learn. He's got a quality head coach who's been proven in this league, who knows what he wants to do week in and week out when he comes out on this field. You come from a pro lineage, had a professional father played professional sports, and the weapons that have been around him essentially since day one, season 2 when he started. Quality veterans, guys that have been making a name in this league, guys that are going to be names for years to come. And you look at what Watson has had to do, overcome a serious injury after he was balling out like crazy the rookie year, overcomes a serious injury, has a coach who nobody is really sold on. Well, some people are sold on, but it lacks consistency. We saw when he had Watson initially, and Watson was playing lights out. Then the next season he goes completely away from that to this overly conservative scheme. And then this year it's been back and forth, game in, game out. You don't know what you're really getting from him. And again, so a less consistent coach who has not proven that he can do it, that he's not having that proven success. Again, Watson and what he's done just kind of as a player, finding it out, developing, having one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Thank God, it's much improved this year. But I think there's some other caveats that we're not going to get into. But either way, whatever the circumstance may be, it's like the haves and the have-nots, but you always see the cream rises to the top. And it's going to be very interesting to see this matchup, these guys finally getting a chance to go head-to-head to prove who was the better pick out of that year. Now, of course, there's a lot of other factors, and how other players play does matter, but it's going to be interesting to see what these two guys do going head-to-head. It's something I've been looking forward to. Well, this is going into year 3, so I won't say can't say a whole fucking 3 years, but about 2.5 years now, close to that. So it's going to be very interesting to see the outcome of that. But with that being said, do you agree that that's the number one key to this game? Is that the thing that you're most excited to watch for this game? If not, let me know in the comments below if there's something different. But hey, let's get into the comment of the day. And hey, you guys, appreciate you for watching to this point. But let's get to that comment of the day right now. Now, before we get into the comment of the day, I just want to remind you, man, hit that subscribe button if you want fresh H-Town sports content daily. And I know my 1 week has been a little bit off this week, so missed a few days, but generally go live every night at 7 p.m. Make sure you're following Soft Sports, on all the proper social medias. Yeah, I'm leaving that in. Fuck that. I'm not editing it out. Make sure you're following all the proper social medias. Again, for those of you who've been rocking with the Sauce for quite some time, if you want to start getting some of these special content, we give away a shit ton of content on Soft Sports. I mean, it is what it is. But going to start doing something real special for the Patreon supporters. So consider signing up for the Patreon to get some private podcasts. We're going to get the Discord activated for live stream, well, not live stream, but during the game, you want to have live conversation with the round table. So, we'll have a special private Discord server for that, not only for the Texans game, but Rockets and Astros game, Dynamo game, for all teams. So you can have that conversation with not only the round table, but Sauce Nation for a variety of sports. And if you just want to chop it up randomly, we'll be on there throughout the day. So if you want to have more access to the round table, direct access to the round table, consider joining that. It's going to be a lot of perks for the Patreon supporters. So consider going and joining at that $5 tier. And again, there's multiple tiers for multiple increasing privileges. But with that being said, let's get into the comment of the day. So let's stop wasting time and get into the comment of the day. And this comes from Austin Orfield. And Austin says, hyped about the win. Also thankful for the Colts giving us a blueprint on how to beat the Chiefs. Run it down their mouths, keep Mahomes off the field, and we have chances. I am confident enough in our O-line now that I think we can do it and win like 20-10. Sounds good. Sounds really good. I'm not going to get overhyped. I'm not going to get overly excited about the Colts and what they did and then comparing it to what we did versus the Atlanta Falcons. But I do believe the Colts did give a blueprint. But what matters most is, will Billy O follow that blueprint? Because, again, we know he's a stubborn guy, a guy with an ego. One game he'll show you he looks like a competent coach with quality play calling. Then the next game he looks like this is his first game in the NFL. Like he's baffled. And we saw the difference between when he had the opportunity with something I mentioned earlier is when he used elements of that Clemson offense and Deshaun Watson was a star. And then he wanted to do his thing, and then we saw how much it seemed as though Deshaun declined, right? We could talk about talent, we could talk about offensive line and all those other things, but Bill O'Brien is going to want credit for what he does. So I think it's going to be less than likely that he follows the same blueprint. Even in times where the running game was really working for us, and we've had a quality running game with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson, he tends to stray away from it at times when it could have been more beneficial for us to use that to our leverage. But I'm not going to knock Billy O. I'm not going to knock him down because he came off a great game, an excellent game where Watson ended up being AFC Player of the Month, Offensive Player of the Month, I believe, or the week. I don't know, week, month. I think it just started, so it's the week. And he said that should have went to Will Fuller. Will Fuller had an outstanding game too. So I'm not going to knock Bill O'Brien. He came off calling a great game. I just want to hope that he can string two of those together. I'm not going to get overly excited. Again, it's a game of matchups, and it's going to be very intriguing to see. That ankle of Patrick Mahomes is going to be a big factor too, so we'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, I'm your host, Ed Honcho. Sauce Nation, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. I appreciate you for watching. Y'all hit that like button, hit that comment button, hit that subscribe button, and I'm chucking up a deuce. Y'all stay saucy.
Perfect.